future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
But why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place.
That's cold.
I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch.
Wow. So Sigma Climb, with all his knowledge up to here, is gonna go back into the past. Oh my god, I love this so much.
That was the chief goal of the project.
Wow, this is breaking all kinds of time paradoxes, but I don't care. This is so cool. Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes. Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making.
Oh my good god, look at this.
Now, from this point on, things get a little bit confusing.
I can't follow that. I don't know about you. Well, where is this going?
A is where everything began.
The Nevada test site.
December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old.
Wow.
Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity.
Because he's a lot weaker at 67 than he is at 23.
The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on.
So, there are hints to it. Several times along the way. You guys may or may not have seen this, but at the very beginning of the game, Phi actually says Grandpa when you first talk to her. I can't quite remember. I might have edited that out. I might have cheated you guys a little bit because I was afraid you'd figure it out. Although I probably could have left it in. Maybe I left it in, I don't even know. Because nobody would have gotten it. I mean, unless you've already played the game. I certainly didn't. First time I played. Like, I cannot tell you guys how much my mind was freaking blown in this game so many freaking times.
If you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Oh, okay. So again, where does this go?
Whoa, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten?
Yeah, the Radical 6 makes us think time is passing more quickly.
You are all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes. Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however.
Sequel bait.
The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B.
Oh yeah, of course.
But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal.
The progression of time in general. Confused
Your
yet?
consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body, until you reach point B.
So if you could do this, you could effectively make yourself immortal, if you really wanted to. Huh. It's pretty interesting.
Do you
Well,
remember
in your mind.
when B is Sigma?
January 25th, 2074. According to what you just told us, it's 36 hours ago.
Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Point A. December 25th, 2028, the day all this started.
Yes. His consciousness will go back in time 45 years.
Giving him plenty of time to do all of this.
For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
But once that body reaches point D, my 22-year-old consciousness will come back from point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at C.
So it's rotating?
Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way. But look at this illustration closely. What if you take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line.
Just like a rhizome.
It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path. With one exception.
This line here at point E, right?
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028.
The day of the total eclipse. The day Radical 6 got out of the test facility.
Yes. By now, you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change.
Sorry, my finger just kind of twitches occasionally. So the old version of me will keep Radical 6 from getting out. By jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve 2028?
Yes. That is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D.
I hope y'all are taking notes. There'll be a quiz later. This is nuts. Like, I've played through this game maybe twice before this playthrough. This is still confusing to me.
In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point.
So there was a separate timeline where Sigma Climb went through all of this, and his old consciousness had to be able to recreate everything in order to make it happen. Huh. It's just like it was with June in 999. She saw it all happen, and she knew she had to recreate everything. So she set up the Nonary game. Huh. This is nuts. This is fucking genius.
So that we might save humankind from destruction and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Tell me one thing.
What is that?
You said that point C is January 27th, 2074, which is today. There's going to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But, look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon. Yes.
And what's going to trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
And how do you propose to do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain. You haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Dio's knife? Run! No sooner were the words out of my mouth. Fly! I screamed and leapt toward them. Akane was already in motion, the knife diving toward Phi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for a cut, but something was in the way. It took me a moment to realize that it was Akane's body, lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few words in Latin. Tu fui ego eris. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be. And there you have it, everybody. Virtue's last reward. Oh. Boy, I got a lot of editing to do. Oh, man. Ugh. Yeah, I meant it when I said it, guys. This is like my top 5 game series of all time. I can't pick a particular game that I think I like better. It's probably this one, but 999 does some pretty amazing things too. But man, and like I said at the beginning, if you remember, the third in the series, Zero Time Dilemma, would not have happened if it weren't for the fans in America crying out for another, another sequel, a conclusion. Because, believe me, this needed a conclusion. It was going to end here. Like, this was going to be it. And it was literally begging for a sequel. But it wasn't going to happen. But the fans made it possible. And, like I said, I have my problems with the third game. Believe me, I do. But it is worth seeing. And it is worth playing. So I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll enjoy it a little bit more this time around. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they fixed a couple things in this version. It's odd, and the art style is unfortunately a little bit different, but certainly still worth playing. So, my thoughts on this game. Can we just call it Plot Twist the Game? Just mind-blowing experiences left and right. This really introduced me to the escape game genre, this and 999. And I really have to give quite a bit of thanks to a good friend of mine who introduced me to this, or I would have never discovered this series. Not until maybe now, honestly. That Zero face is still so scary. What? Whoa! A new destination? Wait a minute, I thought we were done. Time after time. Only character we were missing. But why is this the fight ending? Jump.
Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my... Excuse me. Have managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday, our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The roar of the static seemed to fill the entire room, until, with a click, it disappeared, too. Had the power gone out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. You! Akane?
It looks like the first step was successful.
What the fuck? You killed me!
Killed?
I guess technically you're gonna kill me 45 years from now, but still.
Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay.
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Me and Phi?
Yes. I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump.
Ah, she's in there, isn't she?
Now, you know what happens next, right?
We go to the moon?
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions.
And then we're gonna do all that stuff that they already did. Well, will do.
You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods.
Alice and Clover, right?
Yes,
What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. So she was the age she is in this timeline. Or in this era.
She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from Point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from Point A to Point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are, and she still is.
So she's in there right now.
Yes. The Point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years, sleeping in ice.
Then when she gets to point B, her consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
So that's why she didn't look old. So why don't you just stick me in one of those pods?
We can't do that.
No, of course not, because they need you to do everything.
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines.
I don't know, it sounds like a lot of work.
Otherwise, you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the 3rd AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from Point A will force you out. And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
And then I change history. Do you really think I can keep the virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die. Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
So, what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? When Phi and I jump to point A, what are we gonna do then?
You'll both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
Ah, crap. Then we're screwed!
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Wait. How do you know it's so dangerous?
The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point, a woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms? And my right eye? Ah! Suddenly, a low rumble shook the building. What was that?
Go have a look.
That's nuclear winter happening, Sigma. I moved slowly to the window and peered outside. On the horizon, I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly toward the sky. Would we really be able to change the course of history? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history! I stared at the darkening skies above us and steeled myself. I would succeed. End or beginning. Oh, see why it was so disappointing when there wasn't going to be a third game? Because that is like total setup. Total setup. And so we have done it, folks. That is it. Oh. Wait a minute. Hold on. I haven't seen this before.